2 down, 2 to go. Okay. Keep that wrong. Let me do it again. Hey everyone, today's Friday and here's my face. You're welcome. This week is collection week. If you haven't watched the other girls' videos yet, you wouldn't know that, but you should. I thought I would do a collection of my favorite books. I have 4 favorite books I'm going to share with you all, and maybe you'll want to read them after this video. I definitely recommend all these books to you. If you watched my little intro video, you know I like to read. And I couldn't really think of anything else to do a collection on because I don't collect things. My first favorite book of all time is All the Bright Places. I mentioned this in my Get to Know Me video a few weeks back. It's my favorite book ever. I read it over the summer. I'll probably read this again. I've recommended this to so many of my friends and they've read it. So this book is pretty much about a teenage boy and girl who are both in pretty bad places in their lives. The girl is popular. She has friends. She doesn't really have any reason to be sad other than her sister dying. And the boy is just kind of depressed. He's a geek. He isn't really popular at school, and they're both in really sad places, which brings them to wanting to commit suicide. And they both just kind of meet and help each other through the bad times so that they both don't want their lives to end because they fall in love and they enjoy life with the other person. But it's such a good story. It has such a good lesson and so positive and how to get yourself out of bad situations when you're feeling down. My next favorite book is Runaway Twin. I don't know how to say her name, but it's a pretty good book. I read this actually a couple of years ago now. I got it in the mail from Amazon. It's about a girl named Sunny who is a twin, but she doesn't know that she's a twin because her and her sister got separated when they were younger. And she finds out she has a twin sister, like, across the country, I think. And she takes a bus and gets, like, rides from people all the way across the country to her twin sister, who doesn't know that she exists. And it's just a good story of rekindling relationships and motivation. And I really liked this book. It's not very long. It's, I think, a little less than 200 pages, and the print's pretty big, so it's not a long book. My next favorite book is called Life After Theft, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce these authors because I don't know how to pronounce them, but I read this book a couple years ago. It's about a girl who dies, and she does a lot of bad things in her life. She steals a lot of things. She has this, like, cave dedicated to, like, storing all the things that she steals, and she can't move on until she returns all of the lost and stolen things to the people she stole them from. So she has things from, like, years ago hidden in this cave that she just steals, and it's not even like she steals them to sell them or, like, for her own use. She just steals them to steal them. Her spirit contacts this teenage boy who goes to the same school that she went to. She asks him to go to the cave and return all the things that were stolen by her to their owners so that she can move on. He does it, and they form a relationship, and it's just a cool, different story. My last recommendation is Milk and Honey, and I don't know how to pronounce this author because I'm really smart. But this book I read it more recently, and it's a poetry book. If you're into poetry, I definitely recommend it. And even if you're not into poetry, a different kind of book, and maybe it'll inspire you to be into poetry. It's not the typical, like, rhyming poetry, or it's not really the complex poetry like Edgar Allan Poe or anything crazy like that. The poems, most of them are just really short, so I've read this in a day. The longest poem, I think, is a page and a half long. Hang on. Longest poem, I think, is like this long. And still, that's not that long. Basically, this book is about, it's kind of a depressing topic, if you will. It's about sexual abuse, and it's kind of a graphic book, so if you're not into that, and if you're not, like, old enough to read this, then I wouldn't recommend it. But it's kind of sad that people really go through these things every day. The storyline's kind of hard to grasp because I was halfway through the book when I realized, like, oh, this is about this, and like this is happening. But I think it's just a good book for like awareness of the topic because it does happen. I don't know. I think it's a good book to read because I typically enjoy books that are written in poems. Like, what's it called? Gone with the Wind. That's a good book. I think that's what it's called. Gone with the Wind? Maybe. That was the second poetry book I ever read, and my teacher recommended it for me last year to read. And then I saw this. I will probably end up reading this book again. It's really good. And some of the poems in here are very, like, inspirational, and some of them are kind of down, and I don't know, just kind of a mix of different emotions, and I have different emotions towards the book. Overall, this is a really good read. If you're of age and you want something different to read and you're cool with graphic things, then I would read this. So I hope you all enjoyed my video for today, and I hope you guys read some of the books that I recommended, and if you do, definitely let me know. If you guys want to talk to me about these books, I would love to discuss the books with you guys because I love reading. And I'm always looking for different books to read. So if you have any recommendations, leave them down below. And I will definitely read them because I need some new books to read. Don't forget to check out our social media, our Instagram. We want to get more followers so you guys can know when we upload and know what the themes are. And follow our Instagram. It'll be linked down below in the description, as it always is, along with my social medias as well, if you want to check those out. And I think that's all I have for you all today. Keep smiling, and I will see you all next Friday. Bye!